Hello, everybody. Whoa, I forgot to mute my phone for monitoring. Hello. So, we're going back into Warhammer today. We're going to finish up the Tau Squadron, hopefully. You may notice behind me looks a little different. There's two reasons for that, actually. First is first is that I unfortunately have realized that background was actually I didn't know it, and it was free, so like sure, I get it. I've talked about my opinions on this in the past, so I don't really think of it necessarily that the situation I was in that was necessarily wrong, but it's not something that I necessarily wanted to. I felt like the optics could be bad, so it turns out the background I was using was in fact AI, so I've decided to no longer use it. I will make my stance clear, though, that like while I am almost, if you ask me about it, probably about 80% of the time I'm going to be against anything Gen AI related, right? But one of that kind of was maybe one of the things that I was semi-okay with it in, which was essentially a random background piece that is free to use and holds no copyright and is just like literally a tool for somebody who has nothing, because realistically not many people have money to pay for a background artist, right? Especially if you are a VTuber, and you, especially then if you do pay money for your model, you don't use one of the free ones like this currently is, the one I'm using now is, despite that I paid for parts of the assets on it, the clothes I'm wearing right now, for example, and these clothes as well when I'm in this mode. Oops, I'm not playing a game right now. We're gonna be modeling. Yeah, so I think it's one of those things where like I will hold a lot of leniency for people who don't have money, who don't, you know, as long as it's free and they don't have to pay for it and you're not selling it, you're very transparent about it, then it's like, to me it's like, okay, whatever, you know, you're not making any money off of this, you're giving a tool for people who just don't have money. You know, I will always be very pro low income, so things that help with that to me are going to be things that are beneficial. That being said, though, I still felt like when I'm potentially in a point where I will be able to maybe get something in the future at some point, I felt like it would just be better for me to not do that. So that's why I decided to forego that. But why I picked this background behind me is actually a little bit different. That is going to be related to an upcoming debut. Yes, I will have a debut coming up in the near future. At the end of this month, there'll be a fresh debut, and this stream is going to change. It's going to change drastically, and I'm very excited. It's just like I really wanted a new lease to the stream, and I think it's just gonna be really fun, and I'm excited. But instead, what we're gonna worry about today is Warhammer. So, despite that the Tau actually do in fact engage in the abominable intelligence, they use it for machine learning. No, they probably don't. They actually would be like Gen AI bros. But you know, they're also a massive dictatorship essentially. So remember, no one in Warhammer 40k is the good guy. Like, let's just remember that. Okay. Yeah, let's get right into it. We left off. We are going to be, oops. We're going to be making the designator. I can flip this now because I'm not going to, we're in the last bit of it. So we're going to be making the designator. And then the last one will be the lodestar. We will not be done after that though. Because while we will have our 5 stealth suits built, so we will not have an infiltrator per se, though I could always just make one of them as an infiltrator if the meta demands. But we still have to make 2 marker drones. So we will. So I'll move infiltrator actually over there. I'll put infiltrator in the way back. That way I know. Oh, and so this VOD is also going to probably get like some type of copyright ding, and I bet there's going to be some type of muting, I'm sure. I just really wanted to listen to actual Warhammer music, though, for this stream. So, here we are. But yeah, so let's get to the designator here. I'm trying to be sure. Wait, we're on that, right? So that's our Shaw spray. Neutralizer, which has this. Okay, then there, yes. Okay. This just must have flipped over a page. That's fine. Just wanted to make sure. Wanted to make sure our page and stuff was all good. All right. So we're at 52 and 53. So yeah, I have also a fun note. Going into Tau discussion, I have absolutely not made nearly as much since the last stream. I have not made nearly as much progress on Elemental Council as I should have. Where did my hello? Where did I put? Oh, I put it up here. How did I do that? That being said, my early review is still very positive. I think it's very interesting to see how, you know, there's like this kind of clear. One of the interesting things to me that seems to very much be the case is because one of the funny things with Tau is they have a very short lifespan. They live for, I think it was like 15 to like 20 years. Something like that. And thus one of the things about that is that means like cultural shifts and generational things will happen potentially very quickly. Which is why I think the ethereal presence is obviously very clearly important. But that being said, they still obviously like have a little bit of shift at you know, at various points, despite technically not having been, you know, in the like in the setting or known in the setting for nearly as long as most of the other races, you know, like Eldar and Oryx and even Necrons. So yeah, I can kind of zoom this in a little more now. But yeah, what I found funny was like how early in the book, you know, for anybody who this isn't really a spoiler, because it sets up the very beginning of the book, but like the Tau kind of get realistically, the thing that happens is the Tau kind of like, I guess you could say, like, gets a little too big for its britches, and you know, they feel like that they had dealt with the planet that they were conquering like efficiently enough, but reality, there was plenty of humans who did not in fact wish to be part of the Tau Empire kicking around. So and they were struck by inevitably what is kind of one of the Imperium's best things, which is an overwhelming sense of firepower, which the Tau have. But you got to remember, the thing about the Tau and their semi-naivety about the universe is they generally they do not kind of hit this, like, they don't have the like corner dog mentality that much of the rest of the universe has. They're a little bit closer to the Eldar in that sense. Like, the Eldar don't necessarily do that either, but part of that's because, you know, they are the Eldar, and they've been around for millions of years. And so the Tau, I think, sometimes think they can do more with less, which is, you know, kind of one of their flaws. So yeah, so because they're essentially a portion of the operation was considered a failure because it took too long, despite that it wasn't necessarily their fault. It was essentially mainly due to the fact that the leadership vastly underestimated the firepower of the Imperium. Why are you not focusing? Hello? Why are you like focusing so much on the mat? I was hoping, like, when I had all my hands in here that it would help with that, you know. But it just keeps wanting to go to that freaking mat. So here, let me... Okay, that's partly why. Okay, I see. There we go. This should help now. All right. Because of when I did the I was doing the vertical stream, I had my focus point in a different spot. Okay. Uh, I have to do, man, I'm looking at it like I really need to do a big clean on my desk. But I especially need to do a big clean on my hobby desk because I got a new paint holder, which is really cool. Knife. The X-Acto knife just rolled off the table and gently went into my lap. The blade part actually was caught by the wire of my headphones, but like that could have been a little painful. Really likes to get. These really don't like to necessarily just slot in perfectly all the time. There you go. Snap right in there. There you go. Perfect. So one thing I'm trying to think about for this coming year, this is a double whammy of this is kind of a double whammy of Sova's big special interests year, and that's it is and that is the that this is the this year is the, I think it's the 30th. Yeah, this year is the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil as a franchise, and which is a beloved franchise of mine. And also, I believe it's going to be either 35 or 40 for Legend of Zelda. Well, that glues together. I'll check here. It is 40. Okay, 40th. So we have 30 and 40 for what are truly two of like some of my favorite game series is, you know, of all time. So, you know, the question is going to be how and when do I want to do gameplays for either series and games? Like, you know, back in the day, when I like as a much younger streamer, I would have probably done like, you know, I'm gonna play every Zelda game, you know, in a row. You know, like I'm gonna play every Zelda game in a row, and like we're gonna rate them all, and blah 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 blah. 40 years worth of Zelda content is too much for a man with a wife, dog, and full-time job. If this was my full-time job, then sure, I would, you know, I would be more willing to probably be like, yeah, let's do that. You know. But since I'm not, we need to I gotta I gotta pick and choose, you know. We're gonna definitely kind of focus on a number of favorites. I really would I'm gonna play at least Twilight Princess at least once this year. I'm just really hoping that sooner than later we will be able to get we'll be able to get that PC port for Twilight Princess. I'm hoping that decompile, because since the decompile was kind of done early enough, well, kind of like later. I mean, it was like, I think it was like August. But hopefully that will be enough, you know, to give it the time that it needs to do that. Okay, there we go. Seems weird, but all right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you are still a burst cannon. All right, 57. But yeah, so I will note we'll probably start one of the early things I think we'll end up we'll play this year, Zelda wise, is going to be Wind Waker. That is I think going to be the game I play with our debut. As much as I want to play it now, I want to do it with the debut, which just seems like it'd be more fitting. Though there's a lot of games I want to. The debut day is kind of a. The plan is pretty. Man, you do not want to sit in there, do you? There we go. The plan's actually gonna. It's on a non-normal streaming day. And so we'll end up seeing but anyway, yeah. So sorry, since it's on a non-normal streaming day. I'm hoping that we'll kind of be able to do a few extra fun things with it. I was debating doing a different non-normal streaming day and having it be later, because then part of the fun with that could be. Okay. My phone freaked out. It's kind of my like secondary monitor just to see how. Just to mostly keep an eye on chat, but also just to like double check things with my model, because the monitor I have is just for this camera here, so I can see what I'm doing and to double check like focus and stuff. So like, you know, when I need to like do this, I can tell, okay, it's in focus now. Whereas if I held it like this and I realize, you know, oh shoot, it doesn't get this, you know, it doesn't get that close or whatever. Like I can know where my thing is. Like for example, I know for a fact. Oh, actually, I'm surprised. I thought it would struggle to get this close. Neat. That's good enough for the future. Maybe it was just very laggy in the past. But there's a point, like here. I know for a fact here, it will not focus on this. It's focusing on my hand because it will let me get here. But if I move it here, it's out. So, like, I know, you know, and then I know, for example, like, okay, now I'm good. So, yeah, okay. But yeah, I am really wanting to do so like there's a couple games I definitely really want to do on debut. I want to have a little bit of 40k games. I want to spend a good amount of time like doing a little bit of chatting. But the reason, and that's partly why then I'm kind of attempting to spend some extra time. I'm pretty bad about debuts. I just do them half the time. Like when I debuted this model, I just did it. I was just like, fuck it. I want to do it. I just want to be in this model. I want to start making clips because like I don't have like a strong viewership, right? So I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking do it. I'm not gonna create the pop and circumstances, whatever. But actually, one of the things that actually kind of maybe decided to maybe do a little bit was the potential positive engagement I've had on a number of posts with social media. After I did that model, like when I did that debut and I posted about it, and I did like a repost on Blue Sky. That was how I met Alpha, and I really appreciated that friendship. You know, we don't collab as often because you know, I start streaming at the end of the European workday. Yeah. Also, Alpha doesn't really stream very often, but I'll tell you what, anytime that they do, I try to put myself into the chat. I might do that actually. All right. We are through the designator. I'll give the come on, you got it. There you go. Got our designator finished. Finally, the lodestar. Alright, where are we? We'll I'll need, well here, I'm just gonna take this off now since I know I'll need it. That's all drone stuff. All right. I'll put you over here. Yeah, but so I will note the I set the debut date and I'm gonna try to stick to it, but I might change it depending on if I can kind of get the feelers out there for people to play with. You know, I'd love to have the group we had for the Phasmo collab together again. That was really fun. And you know, I'm gonna just throw some shit out there for that day. Trust me. You know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. That's gonna be one of my things for VTubing this year. You know, the thing that always will get me though, I think that I'll always kind of struggle with is the unsureness of, you know, because the best place to meet people, unfortunately, is social media and very often Twitter. And the downside is knowing whether or not somebody is real is a very distinct question. Because unfortunately, bot makers will just pay the money for their Twitter bot to have a blue check mark. So the blue check mark is kind of my like first line of defense, and that's going to be, unfortunately, I think something I'm going to have to do as myself. Is I cannot expect, you know, I'm a firm believer in the don't expect of others what you could not expect, or don't think that others will think of you differently than you may think of them, right? So, you know, if I think it's hard to determine if somebody with the blue check mark, without a blue check mark, is or is not a robot, then how can I expect someone else? So I may have to, unfortunately, pay the Musk bucks, at least temporarily, because that's exactly what I would do in any scenario. Is if I somehow ended up getting any form of, you know, recognizability in the space, then I will. Oh, 77, not 75. I need to pay attention. But no, the once I get any form of that, then, you know, I'll drop it like a fucking hat. I'm here to abuse Twitter as a means to an end, not to appreciate it in any way. Twitter is a platform, you know, can kiss my grits. Hello? Camera. I need you to focus up here. Like, goodness gracious, what was that? How long was it like that? But yeah. No, I definitely though want to be a lot more outgoing about that stuff this year. So I am very much going to have to get outside of my comfort zone, because I'm not a networking guy. I've never been good at it, and it's really unfortunate because I really went into a field that really needs it. But you know, I have a job now, so at least I have some realm of confidence with that and comfortability. But yeah, no, the me getting out there and like trying to talk, you know, be like, yeah, let's collab, bro, let's collab. Man, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that at all. But that's the other thing. It's like I don't want to also just like go on Twitter and just be like, collab with me. It just feels like it's really desperate. I mean, shit, dude. Like, I think that's just what I gotta do. It's the way I am, you know. At least I should be. I probably should be. I mean, here's the benefit of being. This is your benefit. This is the benefit, right, of being an old soul, right? Is if you run into a situation where it's like, oh my god, this person did this, I pretty much will just kind of straight up be like, I don't, or like, they said this about you. My answer to that would be like, I just do not care. Did something else take 56? Hold on. I don't think this will matter a crazy amount, but I need to check. So that head was, this head is supposed to be 56. That one's 41. There's 36. A6, 17. That's the first one. So they're either A6 or A17. I might have just grabbed the rock ahead at some point, so I just need to check. He's 41 somewhere. Oh, that's supposed to be on the Liberator. So, I'm going to dry fit this. As long as it fits, it doesn't really matter. Just need to make sure it fits. Oh, okay. It doesn't matter. Alright. I don't really know how I messed that up, this head situation up, but it's alright. It's kind of a no harm, no foul scenario here. The arms are kind of the one thing that you can fuck up and shouldn't. But I doubt it's also irrecoverable if you did that either. Oh, good. It's gonna be Town. Yep, Town Stronghold. I was like, oh, good. It's gonna be Town music from Dawn of War. Come on, camera. I need you to. There you go. Make you do it. If you won't, I'll make you. I mean, if you ever wonder why Tau get called the Weeaboo Space Communist, this is why, right? It is 100% due to this music. 73, 74. There. 80. Macy's dreaming, I can hear her. Actually, I think it was a bird. Oh, since we're listening to a song from it right now, man, dude, I'm so pumped for Mechanicus 2 to come out this year. It's gonna be sick. Oh, cool. And yes, I am very much hyped to play a Necron. Alright, this model's got a little friend, so we gotta put that together. That was an easy build. So now we've got we got the buddies. All right. It looks like the drones essentially share the same numbers and stuff. So we'll, I guess, just roll with that. Come back to that. Yeah, they're both 81 and all that. So. Okay, we got two. We do have two drones though, so I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, 82 and 83. Okay. Well, 83 is here. 84. Damn, they really couldn't make it so that this would have been one sprue for at least one of the drones, could they? Just couldn't give me a break, could they? I don't know. I have a weird pet peeve thing with like wanting things on, like, or not pet peeve, but like a weird OCD thing about like wanting to have all my things on one sprue. And whether or not, I'm just like, all right. I'm just doing some quick snips here for later so I can just kind of put this sprue away. I just really need to still get a bits box. Okay. Got our final pieces of the drone. A few of these to clean off. Oh yeah, next year I am signed up though for this year's. This year, man, time flies. I am signed up though officially for this year's Adepticon. I was really close to not getting into any events I wanted, dude. That shit went up fast. Like, what the hell? I signed up late last year and I still pretty much got in any events I really wanted. Like, damn, bro, what the hell? When did the kill team get this popular? And if so, why isn't that been reflected on my channel? But like for real, like the kill team events that I was trying to sign up for filled immediately. Like there was, and granted, I was the 3,000th person in line. But like, holy shit, I did not think that would mean that would not reflect on the kill team. One thing that did fill up right away that I could have, if I was smarter and I did hit it faster, would have been the play on tabletop Coliseum. But I might keep my eye open on that and try to see if somebody drops out and snatch it. If I can wishlist it now, that'd be great. Oh shoot. Wait, these are upside down. Here, let me put these on. Let me put this on the drone first. Because it's way more stable to do it that way. But yeah, like I almost didn't get into the kill team pods for like Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which it was. But like I'm like, what? That was I signed up late last year and there were still spots. There were a number of spots open. It was not like I took the last spot last year. So like that's crazy to me. And I mean like you know, great. I am going to try to learn. I'm going to try to go to one of the Trench Crusade things this year. Hey, look, despite what a bunch of people say on the internet as in big overreactions, this is an indie company. Everybody who's like, this is a GW killer, blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Like, this is an indie company, dude. Just because you gave them a bunch of money does not mean they have resources. Let's be a little bit less overreacty. Let's be a little bit less clickbaity, and let's give it time. They just released their first plastic kit, and that's not even released. They just like announced it and sent like tester kits to influencers. Like, we're miles off on a game right now. Like, let's guys just chill the fuck out. I know that isn't in, especially like Warhammer circles, that isn't our MO. Our MO is to freak the fuck out about everything. I get that. But let's not for 5 seconds. Let's not do that. And let's give them a minute. So I'm still going to give them some benefit of the doubt here. And I definitely want to try the game out. I want to see if the game is as good as the lore. Because I haven't played it. I'm not going to make a judgment if I haven't played it. I'll definitely say how I feel about the game later. But I'm gonna play it first. That being said, not to dissuade people's opinions. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying let's not like be like Trench Crusade is canceled, bro. Like, you know, like fucking Trench Crusade is dead. It's an indie developer. This isn't Games Workshop. Let's fucking chill out. Like, especially, man, the people who are like, yo, can't believe they're already worse than Games Workshop. Like, do we forget? How early do we forget the shit that GW has pulled? Yes, the Trench Crusade is worse than GW. The Trench Crusade devs are worse than GW. Yes, I agree. Now let me go pay for my $60 rule set so that I can play for an army. Oh no, better yet, let me go pay $60 for a book I'll never use for an army I don't own, but just so that I can at least know the rules to the guy who I'm playing against. Because without that, I have no idea how to fact check what their rules are unless I buy a $60 codex for an army I don't own. Let's chill out, right? Much like two companies can be bad, two companies can be good. So let's, you know, they could both just be bad, and that's fine. That's what'll exist. Then we make our decisions from that. But let's not make claims that are maybe a little bit hyperbolic. We need to stop doing that. I will champion the concept that we need to be less hyperbolic as a society. We live in a society. Yeah. Nevertheless, though, here's our boys and gals, because really they could be either. We got our stealth suit team ready to roll. Ready for painting. All right. So let me go through them. We'll kind of go through them with the data cards here, and I'll kind of show up because I'm a little done earlier than I thought I would be. All right. So we must start off first with the Chassevray, who it's the pointing one. There you are. We've got our Chassevray. I'll definitely come up with names and stuff for them eventually, but Chassevray. Oop. Pointing a finger of command here. Work with me here. Pointing this finger of command. and they're going to be equipped with the burst cannon. Despite that, I debated giving them the fusion, but the Shosfray has not only the drone controller, but when what's the reason? I don't know. I think I just did that one. This actually would have, I think it was just the other two I liked more as having, I just liked more as having the fusion blaster, especially because they were going to be the ones that I wouldn't mind as much being in short range. This is still going to be a pretty like rangy army. So, you know, I definitely need to like kind of still play with that. All right, so next up we've got our neutralizer. Let me. I'm really gonna have to do painting to figure this out because I'm not good at determining a lot of this stuff, especially given that they have a lot of samey weapons. Usually weapons are the way to distinguish models. Oh yeah, the Shosfray does have the special aspect of having this like little dagger here. That's neat. Okay. Neutralizer. They've got this they kind of got like a bit of like a secondary that's going to be their APL, you know, like action ability. So that is part of their multi-spectrum sensor package. So they will be able to, once per turn, when an operative visible to and within 8 inches of this operative is activated, you can use this rule. If you do, friendly XV-26 battlesuit operative within 3 inches of this operative can immediately do one of the following: perform a free dash action, change its order, and each operative that performs a dash action cannot end within 3 inches, blah, blah, blah. And then also select one enemy operative. This is the big reason I gave it the burst cannon, is this one here, the system jam. And that is select one enemy operative visible to this operative until the end of that operative's next activation. Subtract 1 from its APL stat. Whenever this operative has a conceal order, you must spend 1 additional AP to perform this action. So they want you to... They kind of wanted you to build this. I'll show you the card here quick. They do kind of very clearly wanted you to have built this with the fusion blaster based on the image there. And because of the fact that they kind of want you to be like visible to the enemy. The big thing to me about choosing though to have this with the burst cannon is because of the dash. This is the big reason I want it, is because if they're going to make somebody dash forward, then I want them to be the ones that are going to shoot them essentially with the shotgun, right? Like hit them with the shotgun if you know the person's going to be coming close. And thus comes the Liberator, our first with a fusion blaster. So here we go. So we've got our fusion blaster and this kind of grenade, almost like grenade C4 satchel. And yes, so then we've got, so they have Grenadier. So this operative can use a frag, crack, and smoke and stun grenades. However, doing so doesn't count towards any limited uses. So for example, there is universal equipment in Kill Team. and you can always pick some type of frag, crack, or stun grenade as a universal thing. What this lets you do is use one of them essentially for free. It gives you a third of one of those grenades. Whenever this operative then is using a frag, or crack grenade, improve its hit stat of that weapon by 1. So that's nice. But then we also get EMP bomb, which is up here, and this is the big reason I wanted to give this the shotgun. I knew for a fact it was gonna need to come up because it has EMP bomb has a reposition, or has a range of 4, and then it's heavy, so we can use it only on repositions. But if you can dash on a different activation, then on the next activation I only then need to reposition. That will be key. So that's a big reason there. So then we can get this EMP bomb in there and blast it away. All right, then we've got our designator, the most kind of vanilla looking one that we grabbed here today. So this one will easily become an infiltrator if we needed to. But the first one we built today, and I wanted them to have it because honestly their ability is mostly ranged anyway. They have marker light whenever an enemy operative is a valid target for this operative, or is visible to this operative and within 2 inches of your ambush markers, which is which is a thing for the whole kill team. It's marked, and whenever a friendly cell suit operative is shooting an operative that's marked, that friendly operative's ranged weapons have the severe weapon rule. And then here's the important part. Note that an operative can be a valid target for this operative, even if this operative isn't the active operative. So basically the main thing that's important is that if an operator can be a valid target for a model, whether you are in infiltrate or you're in an engage order, a target could still be a valid target, because the question's more about, if you were to end up shooting this model, could you, in your position, in the position you're in, if you were to decide, I'm going to activate this model and shoot it, blah, 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 then, you can turn that off, and then it's a valid target. Sorry, I was thinking something else. All right, so then finally we've got the Lodestar, the final one that we built today, the final one with a fusion blaster. There you go. Last one with a fusion blaster, and has a buddy. Has got the buddy system. Now, think about the Lodestar that's important here is its abilities. So, we have the Electrostaff Launcher, which, once returning point when an enemy operative is performing the shoot active and your opponent selects a valid target, excluding drones, you can use this rule. So this is anywhere. And providing this operative isn't within control range of enemy operatives, so not in melee. If you do, until the end of that action, whenever an enemy operative is shooting a friendly stealth suit that's both visible to and within 3 inches of this operative and more than 2 inches from that enemy operative. That's the important part here. It's this operative has to be close to others, and therefore I intended it to potentially kind of be near the middle of the battlefield, a place that the fusion blaster, with its 6 to 12 inch range, given that it could have a 6 to 12 inch range, it could be useful because it's a piece that it's like, hey, if you come close, you're gonna get shot with the shotgun, you know. So, but I can still keep it close to my other models, and it has some way to defend itself if need be. But yes, so then if the enemy operative is shooting the friendly unit that's both visible and within 3 inches of this operative and more than 2 inches from that enemy operative, you will ignore any piercing weapon rules, and that friendly operative is obscured. So essentially you are gifting this operative is going to be gifting that kind of almost stealth and obscuring feature to the unit. And then more importantly, this operative is carrying a homing beacon marker. Operatives can perform the pickup marker action on that marker. The first time an operative performs the pickup marker action on your homing beacon, discard that marker and remove it from battle. So if an enemy does the pickup action on this, they remove it. But in the ready step of each strategy phase, you gain CP if your homing beacon marker is in the kill zone. Roll 1d6 if it's more than 6 inches from your drop zone. Roll 2d6 instead if it's within your opponent's territory, and roll 3d6 if it's within 6 inches of your opponent's drop zone. If any result is a 4-up, you gain an additional CP. So it's just a big CP generator. You know, and the idea is to get you to move this forward, right? It's to try to get this at least out of your deployment zone to at least get 2d6. And I think, honestly, I wouldn't want to put this more than that anyway. 2d6, looking for 1 4-up, is pretty good. And anything that generates CP in Kill Team is pretty freaking important. Oh, so... yeah, I do think that that'll be really important. All right, now we've got our marker drone. So marker drone is this one here. You can tell because it's got the little head, little eyeglass there on the right. This operative cannot perform any actions other than charge, dash, fallback, fight, reposition, and shoot. So it can't do pickup marker, pickup, hit objective, all that. Whenever determining the control of an objective marker, treat this operative APL stat as 1 lower. Note this isn't a change to its APL stat, so any changes are cumulative with this. This operative cannot use any weapons that aren't on its data card, so it can only ram. When determining if it's what's visible to this operative, the round disc at the top of the miniature is its head. These are just general drone rules. And this operative is the drones are ignored for the kill op. And that's true for both incapacitations and for just the idea. Essentially, this is a 5 operative kill team when it comes to kill op, not a 7. Then whenever an operative is a valid target for this operative or is visible to and within 2 inches of your ambush marker, it's marked. So this is just also has marker light. The difference with this is, I guess ram is technically, well, it's a melee. So the important thing for the marker drone is I think it's got to be close to the ambush marker. And then the gun drone has gun. Everything drone wise is the same. It's just that it has a gun. Like, that's pretty much it. It's nothing special other than it's just another gun. So yeah, that's the stealth. That's the Tau stealth suit kill team. They're pretty good. looking. I like them. Can't wait to play with them. Can't wait to paint them. Painting's gonna be exciting. We're gonna do that. We'll do that in the near future. But yeah, otherwise, that's it. That's it, man. So here, give me a moment. I'm gonna actually go to the. Well, I guess I'll just go to the main screen where my model is here, and then give me a moment. I might get a little funky here. Yeah, I really don't know what to play tomorrow. That's a big thing I'm trying to figure out. Okay. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to chat a little bit. I guess we'll just do a little bit of chatting. We'll stay in Warhammer because we're going to talk about Warhammer. Let's see. I want you. Maybe. All right. So one thing I find actually very funny, speaking of Kill Team, is, you know, everybody and their mother is talking about how broken the Titus and the Titus and his gaggle of idiots, as Bricky put it. Let me do this. Trying to check something quick. Oh, it's available August this year. Okay. Anyway, yes. So, you know, everybody and their mother has kind of been talking about the New Year previews coming up too. I forgot about that. That's on Friday. What time? 7:30 GMT. What is that my time? GMT. Shut up. It's okay. So, oh, that's good actually. So maybe I could do some type of stream or at least react, because it'll be Friday. That's because that's Friday. Okay. Whole thing was being weird. Accidentally hit show desktop. So yes, the 16th, that is Friday. Friday at 2:30, pretty cool. All right. Oh yeah, I love that we're also getting a Warhammer world. I find that explicitly hilarious. Just because, like, it's in Washington, D.C. I want you to be here. That might be a source of some issues I've been having with this model's lip sync. I don't know, we'll see. I don't know, is this better now? Oh my god, yeah. Way better. Alright. Let's see. Okay. I am very interested though in the where are you? Yes. I'm genuinely very interested in the announced the chaos box. I think I've come back around. I do this all the time where like I get an idea and I like start to backtrack on ideas I've had in the past. I think I am going to potentially revamp my color scheme, but I think I am going to be trying to find the, there we go. I think I am going to stick with I think I do just want to stick with Emperor's Children. I just love them. They're just horrible, but like I love their models. Emperor's Children, look, I read Fulgrim, man. Like it Fulgrim was my Night Lords trilogy, if that's a reference you might get. Like it just, I read it and I was just like, damn. And it's unfortunate that, because I haven't read the new Fulgrim book and I heard it's kind of mid. I'll make that decision for myself, soon enough, right? But like, the Emperor's Children models just look so cool. I wish this was like a slightly higher res image. Like, could this not have been like a little bit higher res, GW? Oh, here, I'll just put like, I'll change at least my Twitch thing so that I'll just switch to like, I'm yapping now. Alright, let's just do, yeah. Let's say build, done. Oh. There we go. Let's change that over for the rest of this. Yeah, I wish I could get this in a little bit higher res, but I guess here we are. So yeah, let's open all four of these. I will say I do think sorry, here, I'll make my notes here in a second. That's why I make sure these load. All right. So I like this one for somebody who is going to try to get to their 2,000 points. I actually do like this one a lot. What it does let me do is it lets me, it will let me do, I'm going to talk to a friend who might be able to help give me a discount on this box. So that's what I'm pushing for. But it's just, to me, it's a couple things. It's first, I don't think you could have, I don't really realistically think from a building standpoint that you can have enough noise marines, just because it's, it's going to be one way or the other. It's always going to be the kind of, it's always going to be the poster child of the army, So, and this is what I'm saying from a collecting and building standpoint. Like, if you just get more noise marines, you always have more noise marines. And, you know, because if rules or, you know, additions change things in the future, you know, you will have that benefit, right? Because, I mean, yes, you can only have 3. And if you've got, you know, I know everybody looks at Battle Force boxes as like, and look, this is something I disagree with heavily, but everybody looks at Battle Force boxes as, if you currently collect blank, you know, how good is this for you? And I vehemently disagree with that premise. To me, you don't, like, specifically, you shouldn't be looking at, if you already play an army, if you're kind of strong into collecting, or you have 2,000 points, don't look at a battle box. They're not for you. They're just not. You know, Battle Force boxes, my belief is they're for the people who are, if anything, kind of like me, where I got the launch boxes, the Slanesh launch box, and for people who are just deciding, this is my next army, I'm going into this, right? And from that perspective, this is great, because infiltrators, having a set of infiltrators and infractors is incredibly important to have at least one of each. You get the best leading model unit. You get the best leading model in the Demon Prince with wings. And it's this new one that works great with Slaanesh. And then 2 sets of noise marines, which again are like key for, if you want to play Emperor's Children, a big reason is going to be because of the noise marines, you know? And look, as you know, as very much a rock and roll, you know, enjoyer, I like appreciate that the noise. I appreciate the noise lore. Like, it's just such an interesting concept. Now Khorne looks good to me, like, from a baseline. Let me rephrase. Let me back up. From me, as like what I would be interested in Khorne personally, I think this looks interesting and it looks good. I think the problem that it runs into, and the reason that I don't think it's not as good, honestly, as a good chunk of as the rest of the boxes, and it's probably the weakest, is just the number of bloodletters. It's, you know, if this could be a great box for 11th edition, right? Like, if GW does what it should do for 11th edition, then this box will actually be fucking great, because you get, it's like, do you like mounted units? Then here you go. You get the best box for mounted units for Khorne, you know? And so that's why I like the box for what I think the game will do at some point. I could see where maybe that GW was a little bit, you know, light on the trigger this edition, but I'm hoping next edition that we get, you know, that Age of Sigmar Chaos Gods treatment. The thing that gets me all the time with that whole, with people who are against the, you know, have the AOS aspect, is when people are like, well, where does Be'lakor go? Be'lakor goes with Chaos Space Marines. And then you soup the same way that you do the same type of, you essentially treat Space Marines or Chaos Space Marines the exact way you treat Children of Darkness. Is it Children of Darkness? What's the AOS? What is it called? Oh, Slaves to Darkness, STD. The way you treat Slaves to Darkness, and they're a great army. People love playing Slaves to Darkness. So like, just do that. It's just, the answer is right there. And people, I know people like to pretend that Age of Sigmar doesn't exist, and I get that. They're dumb, but I get it. So let's acknowledge it for a second and realize that it's given us the solution, and it works just fine. So this would be a great 11th edition box if they do like a Khorne Codex where demons and world eaters are properly together, not this like detachment only BS that they were this edition, right? In 10th edition, this is not a great box, but for 11th edition, this could be an amazing box. So that's why I was like, all right, cool. You know, I like this box personally. This probably isn't one, actually, maybe it is one you buy more than once, to be honest, actually. I like this box because it's every favorite thing of if I were going to get into Thousand Suns, if I were going to abandon, because here's the thing, right? If I were going to abandon Emperor's Children, I'd probably move to K-Suns. And the reason is everything you see right in front of you, right? I love Scarab Cult Terminators. They're some of my favorite Terminators. Like Space Marine 2 proves why they are, because of just like how like amazingly fast they are, their like special teleportiness, but then like also like their design is really cool. Like everything about them to me is awesome. I love them. The biggest thing that's kept me from doing K-Suns was always just the trim. But there's a part of me that always kind of wants to go back to this. That being said, then we've got, you can get Exalted Sorcerers, and then, and then the Mutalith Vortex Beast, which is one of the best fucking demons in the game. It's so cool. And the fight in Space Marine 2 is also so cool. And then obviously you get your Exalted Sorcerer. Or whatever the leader one is, the specific character unit. And like this kit is so versatile. This kit is specifically so needed. Like you just get honestly a bunch of just good Thousand Suns units from this, and it's like great for kit bashing. It's just good. And then so like I do love this box. I think this box is really good. It may not please every K-Suns fan, but to me, like for me, this is like the perfect box for me. And it's like one that I'd be like, damn, should I get to? Like I would actually consider getting to. I'm so vehemently against the idea that a box should be built, that a Battle Force box like this, that's like over $200, close to $250 or more than that, should be, that you should buy. It should be made in a way to buy more than one of. That's Combat Patrol to me. That's what Combat Patrol, like, because that's the start building box. To me, that's what that should be. Whereas, Battle Force to me is about like you've made a decision, now dive in. So as long as, essentially the idea is then, as long as these don't conflict with Combat Patrols, which, oops, that's my music. Does it? I'm trying to remember. What is the, like, what's the, let me go look at the Combat Patrols here. Always chaos. Emperor's Children. Your Combat Patrol definitely doesn't really conflict. That's good. And let me just double check K-Suns. That was Emperor's Children again. I'm an idiot. Just misclicked. No, actually, this actually pairs amazingly with the K-Suns Combat Patrol. And goddamn, Man, maybe I should just go to K-Suns. Because I always, I mean, fuck, dude, I'm just a bird guy. I'm a bird guy. I should be in the bird army. I think it's just because Zinch and all that have always annoyed me, and Magnus, don't get me started on Magnus. Fucking, we call Corvus Corax emo. Dude, Magnus was like legitimately emo. And it's the fact that he's annoying is like epitome to that. Look, I was emo. I was in the original emo craze. Like, you know, that was me. Look, I get it. I remember, if you look at your emo days very fondly, I get that. Dude, we were mad annoying. We were mad annoying. So, I get it. And that's what Magnus is. Alright, then we get to the Nurgle, the Death Guard one. Honestly, I don't see all too much bad with this, because like Poxwalkers and like those, like this is all stuff that doesn't get blocked by having to be in like a chaos detachment. So, you know, this actually works really well, and like these have like the really diverse kit for the Poxwalkers too. So like it's not like it's a hyper cheapo whatever one. So honestly, pretty into that. And then obviously, yeah, you can get the, you know, some of the, you know, obviously you get your best units, your best Death Guard units here. I think maybe the bloat drones could be the weak point of this, but I'm not enough of a Death Guard knower to gauge, I think, if this is useful or not, you know? Maybe if you like got rid of one or two and put the tank in there, maybe they'd be good. Maybe just one of them. Hard to say. I'm not the thing is, I just can't speak enough. It looks good on paper, you know, but I can't say if it would be good for me personally. If I were going to be interested in a Death Guard, maybe a little bit, but that's a very dependent and variable thing. But to me, like, for me personally, I think these two boxes are just so good. Like, because this has everything that I could need. Granted, I'll actually end up with more than the Noise Marines that I would need. But I'm actually debating skipping that and actually instead going for... I'll need to scroll down and back a bit. We'll have to... We're gonna have to really take a few steps here. Because Christmas Battle Force set was a while ago. Okay, let me look here, because I want to show the... There we go. Like, for example, this is what drives me to be like, maybe I should do... let me just do open image. Thank you. Like, this is something that drives me to be like, damn, maybe I should... Damn, maybe I should go this. Because my LGS has these boxes still. And then the Fulgrim one, because the things I do need are Flawless Blades and Fulgrim, right? I would need that. And granted, the thing is, Fulgrim is probably one of the things you don't need in this army. But why would I not want him? You know? But, you know, then I look at K-Suns, man, and I'm just like, birds. I like birds, man. Why do you think I'm I'm an owl VTuber? You know? Birds. Birds. But like the little bit that I've played Emperor's Children on TTS was really fun. I had a fucking blast. Just doing advanced charge, fallback, advanced charge. Like, oh my God, the movement is so fun. It was so fun. So it draws me. It draws me in. But maybe I'll do a little bit of TTS soon here, and I'll play around with it. Because luckily it's not coming out this week, so I could play with it a little bit and then go from there. But because then this could be actually really useful, because then I could get that and this in like a relatively, hopefully less short span of time, and then go from there. Because all I've built from the Emperor's Children box, I haven't actually touched it all that well enough, is this. But I need to make this decision soon. Or I built the champion, sorry. But I need to make that decision too. I love the Lord Discord, not Hellstalker, dude. I want to make this a unit that I could use in something like Emperor's Children or whatnot, but fuck, dude. And like, I want to be able to use demon engines that aren't just the Mauler Fiend. I mean, they get it. K-Suns get it, so at least I could do that. Because I'm not crazy about the Venom Crawler, but I like it. But I want I want this guy. So I'm like, shit. Do I do just normal CSM? Fuck. Maybe. Because the problem is all you get with CSM and sorcery is just the chaos sorcerer unit. So to me, it's kind of like I would, from the wanting a sorcerer, I'd be fine with just sticking with Emperor's Children and getting the sorcerer. So it's gonna be tough to say, but that's gonna be the end of the stream, I think. So tomorrow, I don't know really what we will play. I might do Space Marine 2 tomorrow. I'm really in the mood for something like it. Stratagems have been actually really interesting to me, and the things that they offer have been really interesting to me. So we'll see. We'll look into it. Otherwise, till then, it's been good today. See you tomorrow. Bye.